I'm Schel Kid, your vegan vegetarian cook on the show In the Kitchen with Schel. Sorry I couldn't be with you this month, but I didn't want to leave you without your monthly vegan/vegetarian dish. So, stage right, let's start the show. Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Cooking in a Raw Holidays Edition. I'm Marshall B, your host, aka Schel, and I'm bringing to you some of my dishes, or favorite dishes I like to cook for the holiday season. Very simple, very easy, very quick. I like to spend more time with my guests, or maybe have them join me in the kitchen as we all prepare something together and then sit down and enjoy a wonderful feast of our labor. Each of these recipes that I prepare are easily scaled for a larger group, even though here I'm just preparing for myself and my camera operator.
Whoop, whoop.
Alright, so without further ado, we're gonna get this party started. Oh, that was a good one. Alright, so this dish, I did quite a few videos with vegetables, and I like to keep that vegetable theme because oftentimes we're stuck with vegetables and don't know what to do with them. But I'm going to do this vegetable dish with a twist. Alright, the main ingredient here, in my opinion, will be the mustard greens, which I cleaned some mustard greens earlier. These are like baby mustard greens, not the real big leafy ones. So these are the baby mustard greens. In this case, I'm going to leave the stem on. As long as the stems aren't too big, you can still use them. It's not going to be so hard and fibrous. So I'm going to chop those. I'm going to put some onion in here. Again, you can utilize some of the same ingredients for a flavor. I'm going to put some onion inside of with this dish here. And then we're going to have chickpeas added to the dish. And then I selected some of my spices, 5 of the spices here, plus salt and pepper, I'm going to be utilizing in this dish. We're going to throw some heat in this one. Jackie says she likes heat, so I'm going to give her some heat in this one here with the pepper flakes. Alright, and we'll get this party started. The sauteed pan here is already going. Now again, simplicity is what it's all about, when cooking and cooking for the holidays. So finding a good quality pre-packaged or canned ingredient, there's no shame in that game. Go ahead and do that. If you want to make your chickpeas from scratch and you have the time, by all means, go ahead and do that. I have some raw chickpeas, dried chickpeas up in the cupboard right now. But for this recipe, I want to make it easy for you. So we have chickpeas here. Let me first begin by julienning some onions. As I always said, how you present your dish, or how you cut up your ingredients. 1 is for ease of cooking and quickness of cooking. 2 is for presentation. I want to play around with different shapes and sizes. So I have a little bit of round shape here with the chickpea. This is going to be sort of like a chiffonade or a julienne. So I'm thinking about maybe doing the same thing with the onion. A little julienne, okay? So you have these nice little stringy pieces going out throughout the chickpea. Sharp knife. Always make sure your knives are sharpened. We get that into our bowl here. It makes it easy to just simply toss it into our pan, which is heating up nicely. And all those who've been following me know how much I love electric. Okay? It makes me nervous. I just know I'm going to burn something. One of these shows, I am going to burn something. Did I just jinx myself? Well, I probably did. Alright, now instead of using fresh garlic like I've been doing in a lot of other recipes, I'm going to go with just, the spices, because you don't always have to use, fresh, ingredients or flavor ingredients. Let's learn to play around with our spices a little bit. So I'm going to move this over here to get that ready. Always extra virgin olive oil. Now I'm going to put a nice little simple chop with the stems on our greens here. Let's get rid of that. Paper towel. Move this to here. Again, just a nice little rough top, because that's going to shrink down as it begins to cook. And it's going to be used to flavor our chickpea. So mustard greens, it's going to have a nice little pungent flavor to it, almost like spiciness to it. So I kind of want to kick that up a little bit with some of the spices, but not too much. So let's give our pot here, a little greasing of extra virgin olive oil. All right. Again, as I cook, you'll notice that I will always add more of the oil as I need it. You can always add more, but you can't take it away. All right, we kick that fire up a little bit here so we can get this show started here. Now in this case, I'm going to start with the onion because I want the onion to cook. And then I'm going to start adding spices to it as I go along because the majority of the ingredients are already pre-done. It doesn't take long at all for the greens to cook. So that's nice and heated. Add our onion to the pan here. Let's get rid of that. Nice in the saute. We got one chunk, Jackie. We just won't fall apart.
All right.
That's my favorite word. This is gonna be my favorite cooking word from here on out. It's gonna be chunk. For those of you who are not aware of that, we did a couple of shows during a color food and wine event here in Sheboygan County, Wisconsin. What, a couple of weeks ago now?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
And Jackie was on the show. It was the first time. You know, she came from behind the camera. I had a wonderful time. And she instructed me on how to make a green drink that she brings to me that keeps me hyper and ready to go. It also helps me maintain my figure. All right, you know, so one of the things she did was she had me help her prepare some of her ingredients. She said, now I want you to take this pear, I want you to chunk it. Not chunk, I want you to chunk it. And I said, well, with an innocent, honest response, what's a chunk? So, that's my new favorite word, is chunking. All right, so we have that going here. We're turning our fire down here because now we're going to start adding in our spices. And we don't want those to burn. So, we have some onion powder, garlic, ginger. Can you smell it over there, Jackie?
I can smell it.
All right.
It's a great aroma.
Well, we keep that going first, just a little bit. All right. Let that cook down. And I'm going to add in some paprika and just a little bit of these pepper flakes. And let that cook up here. All right. Now, don't worry about the salt and anything like that right now, because we haven't even gotten to the salt part. But we're going to add some pepper right away. All right. Now we're going to turn that fire up a little bit more, just a little bit of oil. And then we're going to put in our chickpea. Chickpea goes in. Now, since we add the chickpea, this is where we want to add our salt. We don't want to add our salt after we add the greens, because the greens, you know, is going to have so much moisture that's going to soak up a lot of that salt, which will make it a little bit too salty. So when we add our greens, hopefully we won't have to salt anymore. So we add a little bit of salt to this. Now again, I'm only making enough for two, just to show you the ease of preparation. If you have a bigger pan, you can make much more. And these recipes are easily scaled. All right. I gotta do it, Jackie Short. I gotta do 00. 00. That's just my favorite thing. Okay? Alright, now we're gonna add our greens to it. Again, all the dishes are made to be done quickly. You know what? You know what else I think would be great in this dish?
What's that?
Some of my preserved lemons.
Oh.
So I'm going to turn this down, take it off the fire a little bit, let that continue cooking with the residual heat. I'm going to grab some of my preserved lemons here. Okay? Now, if you missed the earlier show, I did these a while back ago. These preserved lemons. Okay, like summertime. I'm still waiting on that video for that one. That one didn't make it out the can, you know, so I'm going to have to do another one of that show so you can see that whole process. But it's simply just the lemon juice itself, with the lemons, a little bit of olive oil to keep out any oxygen. And what you use from this is the skin. The skin gets nice and soft, but it holds the lemon, okay? So that, and you can still use the pith, not the pith, but you can still use the flesh for something else. But I'm going to keep a little bit of that lemon flesh inside. And this piece of lemon here is actually pretty thick. So I'm going to cut these nice and thin, because this is a pretty thick piece here. And I do want some of that flesh to be a part of it, okay? Now, I'm going to mince that. I mean, this flavor is just so strong, so intense, it's not going to take much. Alright? Let's bring our cook back. Let's see where we're at. So a little bit more salt here. The oil. Now you can use the lemon if you have, or lemon juice, or you can even use vinegar. The choice is yours. I'm going to put a little bit of this lemon that I just sliced up in here. I can smell that right away. Oh yeah. I mean, I just love cooking with flavors here. A little bit more of the double zero, because I just like the double zero saute. Now that's hot. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. Down to the plate. I mean, just because it's very, very simple. Something you can do simply with the chickpeas. And all this glory. And all this goodness. Throw a little parsley. You know what else? I'm going to toss on just a little bit of oregano. Okay? Grind that up in your fingers. I mean, it's all about flavor. Flavor is what I enjoy. We give that a little stir. Make sure the herbs get tossed throughout. And there is your dish. Semplice e rapido. Simple and quick. Something I picked up from some of my Italian friends. It's all the Italian I can remember now. But I hope you enjoyed this episode of quick and simple side dishes. I enjoy preparing and cooking for you, and I hope you would cook alongside with me and incorporate some of these into your holiday traditions. I'll see you next time on the holiday series of Cooking in Iran. Please share, subscribe, and like. Catch you next time.